We are back live for the interactive session.
Yes. Okay, let me start off. I want to thank you for your impressive presentation. It's quite impressive. At the beginning of the presentation, you've shown us the recurrent expenditures and also the development expenditure. That's the capital. So we call it capital expenditure. So within the local government act, we have shown that 60%, 40-60. 40% is for the recurrent and 60% for development. But the national budget, when we look at the budget of the Gambia, I don't know whether we have the provision in the constitution for that kind of model. Looking at the budget, the national budget for the past few years, according to experts and other people who observe it, we are seeing that 80%, almost 80% goes to recurrent. Of course, you know what recurrent means. Overhead, salaries, fuel, as you have mentioned. And only 20% goes for development. With that kind of budget, I think we can go for decades without seeing any capital or infrastructure within the district. So as a public expenditure tracking system, if the council, because the council are at the grassroots, and that's where the people are, if they can be kind of monitoring the national budget or come up with a regulation that will help in the preparation or the preparation of the national budget, whereby at least if they cannot go for 60%, at least 50% can go into development. So in fact, where we see the development budget, if you see recurrent budget a higher percentage and the capital lesser, that means that you have more people working, more vehicle use, there is less work. Consequently, you will have little development in that area. So, of course, I think the people also need to know, spending more on recurrent takes you nowhere. Because if you tell somebody today, pay you your salary, it's not that important, they will laugh at you. But that's the reality. You take money, you buy food, you drink, that's the end of it. Tomorrow you have more problems. But if you build a road or if you build an infrastructure, you will see it for 50 years or generations to come. In fact, that capital can also give you a return on investment. For example, if you build a toll bridge road, the people, the citizens will enjoy, and there will be income out of it that can also be reinvested. Many a time people spend money or use public money and they cannot see where it goes, but there's money. So now, if at all the money, that kind of dialogue can be between the central government and the local councils, where we can make the government budgeting system accountable by saying, you collected billions of dollars, these are your budget heads, this is what you want to do, where have the money gone? It is not necessary to spend more on fuel and salary. What about the road in this division or in this municipality, etc. So to help councils also as well, how do we prioritize the spending? Because capital is what matters. That's the reality. Because employing more people, doing less job, does not take us out anywhere. So in short, how do we at the council level and also at the government level make the people know, for example, before we finally approve a budget, let the people, our people know, this is what we budgeted for them. For example, is that their priority? Is that the need? I see my point. How do we connect those monitoring and evaluation? So, for example, how does the media come in to make sure that when anyone is budgeting, the communities, the people that are concerned, their voices are heard, and also they have a response on the budget of the councils or the budget of the nation.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, to me, the starting point, because today you people have 𝒂𝒂 also. You're using 𝒂𝒂. And the local government can even change the scenario of budgeting. You see, the starting point will be, do your service delivery solely. Know all the priorities of the communities you are serving. You see, then do your budgeting. And then, you share it with the government. Because to me, they are giving you subvention. Based on what? What are they giving you the subvention for what? Subvention, no development, has it been outlined? Has it been articulated? You should, do your service survey and say, okay, we want to do A, B, C, D, and this is what it costs. Because at the international level, we call it equalization grant, meaning that KMC and 𝒂𝒂, their service delivery will be completely different from the rest of the country. And then the services requirement will be completely different from the country. Because this is where you have the front of the population settled in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of service delivery. What I mean by service delivery, education is a service, health is a service, you see, and then the other services that is running between businesses. So that's what I mean by services. So you find that when you do that now, you cost it. When they are doing their budgeting, they should take these things into consideration. Why? Because they are the people who voted them in there also. And then, if they are not responding to that, and they should respond through the local government also. And then you say, this is our development budget. Salaries are all recurrent, and the per diem and all that. But what is more important is the development you are providing to the people. So when that is well articulated, you send it to the government. If they don't, go by that, you go by what you can do. And tomorrow you will engage them, because tomorrow if they are doing their political campaign, saying that they have done ABC, there are certain things that should not be done by the central government. It should be done directly by you people. But you see, government cannot function independently of you people. They should even consult you that we want to do ABCD. Do you have the capacity to do it? So if you don't have the capacity, then they said, okay, we'll come in. But it should be a part of cooperation. You see, you should work together with the government. You see, because at the end of the day, it's the people you want to develop. You see, so this is where the starting point. You see, the problem with the council is that they are not doing service delivery solely. They're just going by subvention. And subvention is not enough.
Mr. Dibba.
Even if they give you 20 million, 500 million, it's not enough. Look at KMC. You see, look at 𝒂𝒂. People are complaining every day, the market and other things. But where is the money? The revenue you collect should also be prioritized to say that, okay, this is the amount of revenue we collect, and this is where we're going to spend it. And then you know your variance analysis, the difference, where you can you have the capacity to do and where you don't have the capacity to do. So you see, to me, it is a very simple, straightforward, process. You see, sit down, do your planning properly. You see, present it to the government. I'm sure if they don't respond to it, they are going to be accountable and they are going to be blamed. You see, so you see, this is where I say the starting point. You people should do your planning properly, and this is what they are sticking to. They said, okay, now you people don't develop any plan. You see, and that's why they are not giving you the 25 million. But the 25 million has to be explained, because in accounting principle, wherever money transpires, in place of it, there should be documentation. During our time, if we are doing budgeting, the budget note has to be accompanied. You see, that where the money is going to be A, B, C, D, and their cost. Are you people doing that?
Yes, we are doing that.
But is it well articulated?
Yes. Yeah, let me learn my point here. I said before you come, let me.
We have a program-based budgeting.
Okay, if they are not responding to it, you have a way out. You have a way out.
So what we do, we do all that. In fact, they make life difficult for us. We could not balance our budget because of this subvention. Because you have to do your capital projects, cost them, and you calculate 25% of it. And how can we make that part of the budget go? We cannot omit it because it's a law. We cannot put it because we have less expectations that the reluctance is there.
It's a question of negotiation and facts. You see, what I am saying is that in macroeconomic policy, they have their priorities at the central level. All right? And then you also have your priorities. Yes. But your priorities should fit into their priorities. And this is where I said, and I'm ready to share this anywhere. Sometimes government is not also serious. You see, because a lot of projects came and go. You see, and they sign it. But when the project phase out, did they do sustainability mechanism to incorporate it into their planning? That's the major issue. Yes. You see, yes. I'm a retired civil servant. I'm free to say anything.
Doctor, sometimes, in fact, it's a duplication.
Yeah.
The council will budget for a project, while the central government budget for a project, without synchronizing and communication. So that's what I'm saying. The budget, council should be looked at as a stakeholder in these budgets, so that a circular is sent to the councils to send their priorities. So that when the government is coming with the ministries, council is under a ministry, and then those ministries submit their budget to finance. And we have several bilateral with the finance, our ministry, the councils, 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏, so many workshops supported by UNDP to synchronize our work. But still now, they said now they started giving us 2 million as a subvention without any basis. That's not conditional. In fact, they said subvention 2 million. The first time was conditional. Bring a project, then we form up, and then they will give a ceiling. The project will be more than 2 million. And we design a project to a 2 million level. Then we submit it, and they fund that one. Then after, they stop asking any project. Every year, they just give us 2 million as subventions. So, but when we calculate our 25% of our development fund, or development budget, it's 40 million. When we took it there, they don't look at it. So we write to the select committee as council to complain that this is a law. Why not honoring it and hold us accountable? Honor it and hold us accountable. But they said, well, the excuses are your budget is late, you don't submit your budget on time, you don't, and then our ministry is our key supervisors. They come here and inspect us every quarter.
You have 3 options.
It's a big problem.
You have 3 options to engage the government. Number 1, you know the volume of revenue you collect, yes. And you know your development areas. Yes. You see, these are all issues that you have to be mindful of. You know your development areas, and you know your recurrent areas. Yes. Also, do your budgeting according to your revenue you come. And then the balance. You engage government in bilateral. And that's what they do with the sectors. They engage the sectors in bilateral when it's time for budgeting. So then they will tell you, okay, these are the priorities we want to spend our money. And then government also will look at their priorities, try to fit it into their priorities based on what is available in their budget. Because they cannot also go beyond that. And then the budgeting, they'll have a consolidated budget, all right? And then they have development budget, and they have recurrent budget. So you tell them that, okay, now, these are the priorities of the people. If they are not implementing it, they will start accusing us, you see. And then all what we can tell them that, okay, we are overstretched. We don't have enough money, and government should come in, you see. So then the second priority, you engage the parliamentarian, all right, so that it can go to the park level or PEC, whatever you call them. Yeah. And then third one, you can have, bilateral with, PEC or, 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏, and then 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 also advocate on your behalf. But it cannot be confrontational, because to me, what I'm seeing in this country, government is seeing you that you people are not doing work. You people are also seeing that government is not ready, to give us money. But money should be given based on reason. If you have those reasons, go through this channel, and you see what will come out of it.
Yes, finally, let me land. I think when you started the presentation, it's impressive. I can almost remember everything. Maybe tomorrow, I don't know whether I still remember. But you said all this thing is workable, provided that the people want it or are committed. It's a brilliant literature, brilliant presentation, perfect tools to measure, nice ideas. What if people are ready to accept it? So the question is about acceptance. It's about acceptance. Because the thing is, if you see the councils, they are the government, in fact. They are the government. That's why they call local government, because the local forms the central government. The people. So that means that there is still a bridge. There is still a problem. Because the central government cannot function without the local authorities. We take care of the waste. We take care of the sewage. We take care of the feeder roads. Today, councils, we are proud that we are even supporting the government with money. Then government giving us subvention. I can tell you, when we initiated the waste management, we paid government 30 million. We are on the road, we are going to pay them about 30 to 40 million on this whole project. What government is even, like just my colleague said, 2 million? On what basis? What loss? You don't want confrontation, but sometimes positive conflict brings result. If you provoke government positively, positive conflict, it can bring this result. When we all say local council, we all come together with one fraternity. We call government for a debate, for public to hear, and we say, why are you not giving us? Can you imagine today, if a local council violates the law, you will see what the central government will do. But after all, we are all cousins, we are sisters. People that are in central government, their wives and children are in the local council. And they are going to our markets. The minister is buying in our market, they are all here. The president is living in a council. No, even a president is living in a local council. Why are you not bringing the guy? It's commitment.
Assalamu alaikum. I just want to add my voice to the debate. I just want to add my voice to the debate. I think since day one, what we have been saying will be the same thing. It's about nationalism, it's about commitment, it's about understanding the whole scenario. Because I don't think people are ready to understand or to buy in decentralization. Decentralization should not be the child of local government. It should be the child of central government. What I want to give the Ceprass the taxes, can you kindly look for funds so that you can engage the whole of government? When I say the whole of government, you can build capacities of the ministers, executive, to understand what the whole decentralization or the benefits of decentralization. The legislative, even the judiciary, who normally design laws, policies, and acts, because finally we go to them to make give us guidance. I think these are very key, because we will just keep on blaming each other. There are some people within government, they are definitely ready to empower councils. Because I can remember vividly, I'm a colleague from the public reform management sector, finance. So you would often say, if you think that councils don't have capacity, why not build their capacities? And in fact, they have introduced these reforms. One is the program-based budgeting that now clearly outlines the development priorities of council, and we endeavor to cost them. But then, if there is this gap which is not closed, our acts, our policies are not speaking to each other. I often continue to lament on that. And you look at the gap. When do they prepare their budget, and when do we prepare our budget? During the time of ProPark, they used to consult LGS during the formation of national budgets. But is that existing nowadays? Do we have an input? like what my colleague said, the Director of Finance from BCC, do they invite councils? Even the budget bilateral that you do is conducted by our own ministry, and then Ministry of Finance sits in that, GRA sits in that. These people, Accountant General, they sit in our budget bilateral. Obviously they know that this is what we know. The thing is the reality, which they don't want to come out. And the reality is within us also. Why can't we are not meeting the 60%. It will not be met. Even government cannot meet that. Because one, if you look at the country, we have less PPPs, isn't it? We have less employer of people, and yet still there is high unemployment rate. Where can we put our youth? So obviously government have to keep on employing. If you come down to councils, whenever changes happen, a new chairperson, a new mayor is in, obviously you have new staffs coming in, because they also want their people. These are some of the campaign promises that they do to their people. They have so many youths graduated who are not employed. What can they do? Some of them have to absorb them into the council. Now, the moment we absorb those into councils, into government, do you expect much to be delivered as development? Then you see a high rate of our expenditure going on, recurrent expenditure. These are some of the realities. That's my own analysis. I did not read it from any literature, but that's my own analysis. Unless and until government diversify, unless and until councils will also diversify, government will continue telling us that we don't have capacity, when we knew that we are also building our capacity. Because probably they don't have money. And some of them, if you have an engagement, privately, they will tell you we don't have. We also have budget deficits. And the moment they have budget deficits, councils are no longer their priorities. They have other things to do. So I want to implore Ceprass. I know it will be very difficult looking for funds, but then these are some of the continuous capacity, continuous advocacy that you can do. Engage the executive, even the office of the president. I one time told Sanadabu, SMD, on his leadership training, I said, call all African leaders to AU level and talk about governance. Come down to our individual national countries and talk about governance, good governance. So I think these are some of the issues that we need to look at so that the blame game can be over. Because the councils, government, it's the whole of government approach. You cannot divide us. Even if we want to divide ourselves, the structure will tell you, no, you cannot divide ourselves. Until and unless that what you said, if you are ready in your presentation. If you are ready, commitment. But commitment is based on what? It should be based on nationalism. But are we nationalistic? That's the bottom line.
Well, my honest opinion and advice to you people, because this is a contentious issue. You know, this decentralization is evolving over time. The countries who have implemented it successfully, they went through a series of hurdles. Is it? Because even Uganda we went, is it? And also I work in the UN system in Kosovo, implementing this decentralization. But the local government planning and policy, you see here, it is hidden. We are talking about devolution. And the meaning of devolution of decentralization is to give you people the power, you know, to generate your own resources and to, you know, come up with your own policies. And then also, you know, come up with your plans. You see, but that's not happening in this country, to be quite honest with you. It's not happening. Why is it not happening? Because there are certain activities where you generate money, government take it from you. Why did they take it from you? You need to, you know, negotiate all these things. Why did they take it from you? Because they are all complaining. I remember I attended one workshop when Barajuf was from, you know, late, you know, vice president, was at permanent secretary and local government. And the statement he made was that they don't have the capacity. My question was that who should build the capacity?
Correct.
And it was unanswered. Government should build the capacity. You see? Otherwise, you use your own funds and build your own capacity for the interest of the people. But we cannot stick, to the issue of capacity, a lack of capacity. And then when we are all working for the people, both local government and the central government, we are all working for the development of the government, of the people. So therefore then, the development process should be shared between you and the government in addition to the communities. Because Uganda, we went there, made their priorities, and they make consultation with the communities, and then present it to the government, and government incorporate it into their planning and budgeting process. So if that is not happening, this issue of contention will continue. Will continue unless you sit at a bilateral with the government and tell them, look here, we are all working towards the development of the people. Let's find a way of solving the problems. But the problem cannot be lingering in the air without a solution. There is no problem without a solution. So that's my advice, because this has been going on for years now. And then, the finance and the audit bill, they incorporate that in the act. So is it being implemented?
Not fully.
You see, then you put something, anything that is enacted is legal. It becomes a law. You see. So if they are not implementing, that's why I remember at one point in time I said, sue the government to court. Or if you cannot sue them to court, go to bilateral and bring all the stakeholders.
Yes.
You see, that's the only solution. But it cannot be lingering. We have to find a solution to the problem. Because it's affecting all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see, we are pointing fingers at the local government, and local government is not speaking. You see, we did, community scorecards here, so that, in education, we did it in health. You see, when this Babkar boy was in education, we did it, and then people spoke. And we put it into a policy.
Yes. A perfect form of
Yes.
we are taking all the...
Let's allow it. Yes.
Thank you very much. The area that I'm going to talk about is something that, like, what I understand from you. I think I got your advice saying that we should work together with central government.
Yes.
And maybe you think we are not doing that, but we are doing it. Or you know that we are doing it, still you want to advise us to do it. We are doing that even today. But you know what's the problem? I always said we shouldn't be quiet. And this council, see to the councillors, thought of it, that our people from the grassroots, they keep questioning us that you don't bring back the 60% there, but they don't understand. And we said, we're going to have a community radio station, which we have it. But you know what government did? They said they won't give us license to operate that because they don't want to be exposed. And our people should know what we are here for. We are here for them, and we are trying our best level to see that what they bring us here to do, we are doing it, and we are trying that. And we want to show them that this is what is happening. We are ready to serve you, but the central government is not ready for that service to be done. And they don't want us to expose them because we will tell our people that this is what is going on. And because what I heard from you, I know most of the people also, they don't know that we are working with central government, but they are the one blocking us so that things will be fast-tracked.
Well, you finish. Okay. My advice for that you also engage the people and let the people engage the government.
Yeah, we are doing that, but the way we are doing that will be maybe we have to go and meet our community. From community level at ward level, we go house to house and talk to people. It's difficult. It's difficult to do that, but we are doing it. Some people are getting some answers.
You see, the most important thing here, both government and the local government have to put off the political card and look at development in reality. And this is where people, because sometimes when politics comes in economics, political economy, we call it normative. The politicians should ensure that there is stability in the system. But without stability, there will be no development. But they should not deal with the positive development indicators. You see, and you see, we should be speaking truth to each other. Government should tell the local government what their stand is. And then, also the local government should tell them what their responsibilities and constraints are. You see, and this bilateral, discussion has to happen. Otherwise, nothing will happen. It's going to be a blame game. You see, people will be blaming you, and you will be blaming the government. Government will be blaming you, and then, telling different stories to the people.
But what I'm telling you, we have the ideas. We have the ideas, and we are ready to
yes. I mean, it's going to be continuous blame game, but we have to find a solution to the problem.
Yes, for me, if we want to find a solution, I think 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 should be the body that should fight for our needs. Because we are paying yearly subscriptions. That is not just a mere chicken change, but it is real money. But what is 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 doing for these councils? Maybe when we engage the central government as a council, we might be termed or labeled as a council that wants to rebel against the government. But we have our, we have 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏. Sorry, we have 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 that should be fighting for all our problems or needs. For me, I don't see councils individually engaging the government, but we have a body called 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 in which we are paying our yearly subscriptions, which is not small money. So they should take it upon themselves to make sure that all our needs or all the things that we are calling for is met at the end of the day. So this is my contribution.
Well, as far as the structures are concerned, in this country, you have the VDCs, you have the ward. And then, plans should emanate from VDC to the council level through the ward. And then at the council level, you prioritize. And then you cost them and present it to the government. And if government is not really putting in money, because they see you as a corporate body, now you go through the channel, because in the civil service procedure, you cannot jump the gun. You have to go through the process until you get to the end. So you go through your representative, and then through the pact, and then to National Assembly. So people will look at, there has to be a solution to the problem.
The solution is power problem. Diffusion of power. That's why the problem.
But people's power is stronger than their power.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the people who put them there. That's what I'm saying.
The process is, we have to do it like officially. But we are responsible to the communities. We are the one providing their development. We are here to fund, mobilize resources for their development needs. But the other aspect of revenue where we can get it, we only write officially every year to the ministry requesting for our subventions. We write and they didn't communicate. We write again, they didn't communicate. We write to the FPAC, Select Committee, local government, for local government to mediate. And they call our ministry. Birkama Area Council was there, Banjul I think was there, and then you have the Minister of Finance representative were there. And then when they were asked, why are you not paying these people their subventions? And we have the local government act in front of us. We display the sections. They said, yes, they are not preparing their accounts, they are not submitting their budget. But the one lawyer within the ministry said, no, the law says give them the money and then you held them accountable. But I think the bottom line is budget constraint at the center as well. Man, that's what I'm seeing. Maybe that's why they are doing all this. This is not about competition. We are not asking them money to give us to fund our own activity, but for the entire Gambian populations. So the little thing we are collecting is not sufficient to cover our maintenance, public place cleaning, providing cleansing equipments, paying salaries, fuel. Inflation is going, price is going up every day. So if government come alongside and give us a token, we can build every year a project.
One advice I will give you people is that in your planning process, do what we call SWOT analysis. What I mean by that, your strength, your weaknesses, and the opportunities available to you, and then you generate more revenue. Because I know government, maybe it may not be in my time, they will not respond, you see. But when you also started generating your own revenue, because, in Europe, they build hotels, you see. Council build hotels, council build, council houses, and rent it to the population, and generate more money.
In that side also, yeah? we don't have magistrates to enforce our collections. People, we don't have, you take them to courts, they pay anytime they want. Powers are not given to the councils. Like GRA, the way GRA can enforce revenue collection, council cannot enforce it. Like BCC now, if you refuse to pay your tax, I cannot take you. Let me not say it in the public. It's difficult.
Well, this is where
so many problems.
If they take all these things from you, and you are what are you depending on? What is your revenue source?
Just rates and collect.
Huh? Looking at a population of 136,000, who, yeah?
Okay,
well.
So, just 1 minute. I want to just explain one thing to Uncle.
Can you unplug my...
Yes.
Can you?
Yes.
No. Yes, it's working.
Okay. For me, I have an observation regarding about these issues with the central government. These issues does not start today. At that time, there was a government here, and that government was the one in charge of all these area councils here. And then they were all speaking in one voice. At that time, area councils were not getting this subvention. Even the 2 million, they were not getting it. So these 2 million started coming around 2019. The time we came into power, this was our first time. We engaged the government. The government says that now we should do a program-based budgeting. After doing this program-based budgeting, that's the time these 2 million start coming. But can you imagine, this act was not developed in 2018. This act was developed since 2004. So if this act was there, the government refused. Can you imagine? A government that was here was speaking in the same language with the previous area councils, all of them. They are in the same party. The government failed to give their subvention, but this current government that came in 2018, they at least tried. At least the type of grant that they should give it to the general area council is the general grant is part of it, and then the conditional grant, that is grant in it, and then the subsidy. So all these things are in category. So the general grants are grants that are meant for decentralized structure at the area councils. So that grant is meant for that. The conditional grants are meant for what? That is meant for development. And if they give you 2 million, that 2 million should be used based on that, based on a development that costs 2 million. So the subsidy grant is the grant, for example, these are meant for area councils that are lagging behind. For example, if you go to Kuntar area council, they are having issues there. So those are the ones that are supposed to benefit from this grant. But now, actually, just like you mentioned, at KMC level, I cannot speak on behalf of other councils, to be honest with you. But at KMC level here, our budget is based on a program-based budgeting. We go to the communities. We have sub-wards at our community level. For me, in my ward, I have 3 sub-wards there. And this is different from the double DC. So at the double DC formation, a male and a woman should came from all these 2 sub-wards, and they form the double DC. Now the double DC is there, they have their own account. Now if KMC should prepare a budget annually, it goes to the community. We discuss it there first. From there, our recommendations, among our recommendations, maybe 2 or 3 would be picked there, and it will be forwarded to the main council here. If the main council is developing their budget, that's how they put it there. But the truth is, the Gambia government is having a problem. For example, 95% of our fund, or the amount of money that GRA is accruing, it goes to salaries. Even the salaries payment, government cannot take care of it. We look for budget support from EU. I think all of us are aware of that. And then the amount of debt the Gambia government is owing to this international body is huge. And then the government is struggling to pay that. Can you imagine the government will be able to give 45 million to only KMC alone, talk less of the area council. Just as someone is mentioning here, 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 is a toothless bulldog. 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏, in fact, they are struggling. Even today, instead of 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 for them to go forward, in fact, they are going backwards. Can you imagine? 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏, for 4 years, they wrote a mail letter to the office of the president just to sit and then have a dialogue with the president was a problem. Up to today, the letter has not been approved. And then again, just like you mentioned another thing here, we do have a bilateral with the government every year. Me, myself, I represent KMC at the bilateral, at the ministry level. Whereby, just like a particular person explained here, you have GRA there, you have the Ministry of Finance there, you have Accountant General Office there, and then different permanent secretaries used to attend this meeting. All these things will be tabled out there. Do you know what they tell us this last budget bilateral? They say that we should remove the subventions. We only put the $2 million there. And that's how we do. And all of us, we comply. But the truth is, the government itself, they don't have money, in fact, to pay for this 25% surveillance. So that is all this brouhaha. Because initially they said that we are not using IFMIS. But now we are using IFMIS. Still the thing.
Well, I'm not speaking on behalf of the government. Yeah. But their concern is that you people are not accounting for the money given to you. And this is where they are not giving you the 25 million. You know, we made a consultation. We met with all of them, starting from the ministry.
If you are not accounting, they fail.
They said, you know, I mean, if they give you 25 million, you cannot account for it.
Yeah,
meaning that...
They are our supervisors. They are our supervisors.
No, but you see, listen. Supervision has a process.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to supervise the processes you have gone through.
Yes.
So then when you write your proposal, and then it is well articulated, and it is sound, I see no reason why they should not give you 25 million. But at the end of the day, the 25 million should show where it is spent. So that you account for it. And this is why I show you the budget flow. And I show you, how the monitoring aspect of it. Because it is very important when we are giving money, you account for it. Okay, so I mean, I'm not speaking on the idea, but this is what we heard from them. And then another thing is that you people also need to organize yourself and make sure that every little spending you make, it is addressing an indicator. That's the most important. Budget has to be attacked to activities.
I think we have we have national audit office. They do come to audit council every 3 months. So if certain things are happening, they know exactly where they spend the money.
Well, either they are unwilling or
the willingness is not there. The willingness is not there.
It's just an excuse. I think they are just undermining council and they are not following the process. But all these structures are there.
They get you what? Then the traveling people don't do. Deconcentration, that's administrative decentralization. But they didn't give you devolution centralization. So this is the point. So why are they not giving you the devolution centralization?
It's fair. Why devolution does not come, total autonomy is fair. It's all fair. Sitting on fear, talking out of fear, and walking in fear.
Yes.
Because of your people, your same people. No. So what we are saying, they will tell you our balance, our budget, our balance sheet, I call it. It's more than 300 million. You are just telling us you cannot account for 25 million. It's a kindergarten. That is pure.
It's excuse. It's just
300 million plus grants that we have 180 million. 450 million, a country that is running that, and a project that everybody is seeing, you are just telling us you cannot do only 25 million.
In fact, those who tell these people to only factor 2 million, they will not put it in writing. They can only tell you why, because that can be sued for them. How can you violate, how can somebody sit there and tell you don't factor your subvention on the spot, on the state? It's a crime. It's a crime.
Well, it should be a bilateral agreement.
Yeah.
Government should focus on macroeconomic issues. And you people also deal with some part of macro and micro developmental issues. And then they should map out these things with you people and give you the resources for your interventions. So that's my opinion.
Sorry, let me make a contribution here. I think this should be a core contribution. The fact that we are leaving one point behind. We all understand the government of the Gambia is a failed government. So how can you expect a failed government to provide you with grants that cannot even make a simple procurement of government projects? But you as a local body under the government expect to be given subvention. This is not something that is realistic. If we are being realistic enough, we should understand that a government that is operating on deficit cannot provide you with any other subvention because they don't have it at their disposal. So this is the simple contribution that I wanted to make. Thank you.
Right. And I want to add something behind you. Behind you.
Okay, the issue is going to be the last one because somebody has to make presentation. I know it is a contentious issue.
We want
but,
it.
My response to you is that the government should go in bilateral with your people, and as you also go in bilateral with the communities, because at the end of the day, the development we are talking about is for the people, and they should all benefit from that. You see, so there has to be an agreement, tripartite agreement between you and the government and the community. You see, so that has to be known, and then you do all your planning geared towards achieving that. So you see, whatever, because I know it is difficult at this point in time. Government is not ready for decentralization. The decentralization, I know, government is not ready. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. It's like a very interactive session, but we want it to be factual. The issue here is that the government is not fair with us, and we are not competitors against the government. We are kind of trying to support the government meet its MDGs. Looking at what KMC had signed yesterday, a contract of almost about $300 million. So if you said you are afraid to disburse 25 million, and then looking at the Brikama Area Council made a disbursement of 14 million within 24 hours, that is different from the recurrent. How much does a council utilize per annum? It's millions of dollars. And they are almost always ready to be accountable before the central government auditor. Now, if you look at the coronavirus thing, the funds that came, this is what we call charity begins at home. The government should set the pace. They should be exemplary to make sure that justice and the truth prevails. That we should also follow. For us as a council or as a municipality, we are almost always open because we are answerable, we are powerless. The most powerful entity is the government. But looking at all the audit reports, I think you guys stand in a better position to be the judges of what they attribute councils and municipalities of. And then the fear that they have to disburse or give us just that chunk of $25 million cannot even run a recurrent of a council per annum. So what is their fear? Thank you.
My advice is that to get the government should all be committed to the service result and present the result to the government and what it takes. So that, and prioritize those things that are of concern to the citizens. And then you tell them that, well, this is what the citizens want, and we are all geared towards developing that. And then these are priorities that we cannot do without. And then, if government refuses to do it, then you use your committees. You see, like, PEC committee, whatever committee you constitute, to talk to people that we want to do this thing, but we don't have resources, and we spoke to government, they are not responding. Then when the politics come, the people will enjoy, the government.
Okay, I want to make this addition as well, because I think this is also a political matter. The fact that amendments are based on political gains or administrative gains is also a problem here. Because if you look at the situation here, like my colleague mentioned, the former government was in line with this local government. So that means that this amendment was based on political gain, because politically they've seen that, okay, this is a different government with this, and the fact that if some of these subventions are given to this...
Both government and the local government should put off the political...
But it has to start from the top, which is the central government. The central government has to be the one that put in national interest first. But if the central government is looking at it like, okay, we will only give them subvention based on, we will give them support based on political gains, then it's a problem.
So if you want to bring in politics, then this problem...
But this is the sad reality here. We are facing this because clearly the past government is working with the local government because it's the same government. It's the same party, right?
Politics is what is affecting the whole problem. So let's put aside the political ideas and we think about development.
You can close.
Thank you all. Let's hear the other presentation.
All right. That is the end of the interactive session. If you have any thoughts or opinions, you can say it on the comment box. Thank you. We'll be back soon.